Right now, there is an invisible timer counting down over your head. Every time you deposit that unemployment check, a second ticks away. Most people treat those benefits like a safety net, but in 2026, that net is made of paper, and it's about to tear. The question isn't if the money will stop. The question is, when the government stops paying your bills, who will? If your answer is, I'll find another job then, you've already lost. Here is why you need a side hustle today, before the well runs dry. The most dangerous thing about a safety net is that it often becomes a comfort trap. In the U.S. economy of 2026, unemployment benefits are structurally designed to be a bridge, a short-term fix to keep you afloat while you transition. However, there is a psychological phenomenon where receiving a consistent check, even a small one, tricks your brain into a state of false security. You stop hunting with the same hunger. You start measuring your life in weekly increments rather than yearly goals. But here is the brutal reality. While you are sitting in that waiting room, the world outside is moving at a 4K high-speed pace. Inflation doesn't pause because you're between jobs. The cost of living, housing, and basic necessities in the U.S. continues to climb, meaning that every single month you rely solely on that fixed benefit check. Your actual purchasing power is evaporating. You aren't just standing still, you are effectively falling behind. Furthermore, the temporary nature of these benefits is a hard deadline that most people ignore until it's 30 days out. By treating this period as a vacation or a break, you are trading your most non-renewable resource, time, for a payout that barely covers the basics. In 2026, relying on a system that is currently under immense pressure from automation and shifting fiscal policies is a high-stakes gamble with your future. You have to realize that the government's goal is to keep you stable, but your goal should be to become unstoppable. Stability is a ceiling, a side hustle is a floor that you own and can build as high as you want. If you don't start building that second engine now, you'll find yourself at the end of the bridge with nowhere to land. In the hyper-competitive landscape of 2026, professional stagnation is the equivalent of career suicide. There is a silent, devastating process that occurs the moment you step out of the active workforce. Your market value begins to decay. In the U.S. market, employers and clients aren't just looking for experience, they are looking for relevance. Every month that you spend solely collecting a benefit check without building something of your own is a month where your skills are gathering digital dust. The tools, the software, the AI integrations, and the networking strategies that worked 6 months ago are already being replaced by newer, faster systems. If you aren't actively engaging with the economy through a side hustle, you aren't just unemployed. You are becoming obsolete. Think of your professional profile like a high-performance engine. If it sits idle in a garage for 6 months, the battery dies, the oil settles, and it becomes harder to start. A side hustle is the active maintenance that keeps your engine running. Whether you are consulting, managing a niche YouTube channel, or freelancing in the digital space, you are proving to the market that you are a producer, not just a consumer of benefits. In 2026, the gap between having a job and having a skill has widened significantly. When you finally go back into the world to seek a major income stream, the person who spent their time building a side business will always beat the person who spent their time waiting for a callback. By launching your own project now, you are essentially future-proofing your identity. You stop being a victim of a layoff and start being an entrepreneur in transition. This shift in mindset is visible in how you speak, how you carry yourself, and how you negotiate. A side hustle gives you the leverage to say no to bad jobs because you already have a foundation of your own. Without that foundation, your desperation becomes a smell that high-paying clients can detect from a mile away. You must use this time to sharpen your blade, because once those benefits dry up, the market will show no mercy to those who let their skills go dull. The single greatest mistake most people make is waiting until they are in a state of absolute financial panic before they start a side hustle. In the world of business and content creation, desperation is a silent killer. It leads to short-term thinking, poor decision-making, and a lack of creative risk-taking. However, right now, you possess a rare and powerful tool that most aspiring entrepreneurs would kill for: leverage. Even if your unemployment benefits feel small or restrictive, they represent a baseline of survival that is already paid for. This is your seed capital, not necessarily in terms of the dollars in the bank, but in terms of the mental bandwidth it buys you. While the government is covering your rent and your groceries, your mind is free to explore, to fail, and to iterate without the immediate threat of homelessness hanging over your head. This is the innovation window that 90% of the population wastes on distraction. In the 2026 economic climate, building a brand or a service requires a period of trial and error. If you wait until the benefits dry up to start your hustle, you will be forced to take the first mediocre opportunity that comes your way just to survive. You won't have the luxury of building a high-quality 4K YouTube channel, mastering SEO, or developing a premium digital product because you'll be too busy scrambling for rent money. By starting today, you are essentially using the system to fund your escape from the system. You can spend these weeks and months researching high-impact niches, testing different thumbnail strategies, and building an audience while your basic needs are met. This allows you to build a foundation that is sturdy and professional rather than something rushed and fragile. Think of your benefit check as a research and development grant. Most people see it as a spending grant, using it to maintain a lifestyle that no longer exists. But the elite 1% of earners see this time as a subsidized period to build an engine that will eventually replace their salary 10 times over. When you have a safety net, you can afford to be bold. You can reach out to high-level mentors, experiment with new AI tools, and invest your time into assets that compound over time. The moment that safety net is pulled away, and it will be pulled away, the people who didn't use that leverage will be left standing on thin air. But for you, the transition should be seamless. By the time your last benefit check hits your account, your side hustle should already be generating enough momentum that the loss of government aid is nothing more than a footnote in your success story. You are in a unique position where you are being paid to become an entrepreneur. To ignore that leverage is to throw away the best head start you will ever get. The fundamental shift that needs to occur during this period isn't just a change in your daily schedule. It is a total psychological overhaul of how you view your value in the 2026 economy. For years, the traditional employee mindset has been conditioned into most of us. The idea that you trade 40 hours of your life for a predictable paycheck, and in return, someone else takes on the risk, the branding, and the ownership. But as you have seen, that predictability is a fragile myth. When a manager, an algorithm, or a corporate restructuring can delete your primary income stream overnight, you realize that being an employee is actually one of the riskiest positions you can hold. By starting a side hustle now, you are initiating the transition from a demand mindset to a supply mindset. You are moving from someone who asks for an opportunity to someone who creates one. This transition is about reclaiming ownership of your distribution. In the digital age, if you don't own the platform, the audience, or the product, you are essentially a tenant on someone else's land, and they can evict you at any time. When you build a side hustle, whether it's a YouTube channel focusing on high-value niches, a specialized consulting service, or a digital storefront, you are building an asset that belongs to you. This asset doesn't go away when a contract ends. It doesn't disappear when the government decides to tighten its belt on unemployment spending. It is a portable income that follows you wherever you go. You are no longer waiting for a job opening to appear in the market. You are observing the market, identifying a pain point, and supplying the solution. This is the difference between being a pawn in someone else's game and being the architect of your own. Furthermore, the owner mindset changes how you perceive every hour of your day. An employee counts down the minutes until 5:01 p.m. so they can stop working. An owner looks at every hour as an opportunity to build equity. Every video you script, every thumbnail you optimize, and every connection you make is a brick in a wall that will eventually protect you from future economic storms. In 2026, the barrier to entry for ownership has never been lower, but the cost of staying an employee only has never been higher. When that final benefit check arrives, it shouldn't feel like a disaster. It should feel like the moment you finally cut the umbilical cord. You aren't just looking for work anymore. You are managing a brand, scaling a service, and controlling your own narrative. The side hustle is the training ground where you shed the skin of a subordinate and grow into the role of a founder. By the time the world realizes you're no longer looking for a job, you'll already be in a position where you'll never have to ask for one again. In the modern, algorithm-driven job market of 2026, the traditional gap on a resume is no longer just a minor talking point in an interview. It is a digital red flag that can get your application automatically discarded before a human being ever sees your name. Applicant tracking systems, ATS, and AI-driven hiring tools are programmed to prioritize recency and active engagement. When you rely solely on unemployment benefits and stop producing measurable professional output, the data reflects a period of stagnation. To an AI recruiter, a 6-month gap doesn't just mean you are out of a job. It suggests that your skills are no longer current and your professional momentum has hit a dead end. This is a high cost that many people don't realize they are paying until they try to re-enter the workforce and find that the doors are mysteriously locked. However, a side hustle completely flips this narrative. By launching a project, a consultancy, or a digital platform during your transition, you effectively erase the gap and replace it with a founder, strategist, or lead creator title. This isn't just about padding your resume. It's about demonstrating a growth mindset that is highly prized in the US corporate and tech sectors. It changes the conversation from, "Why weren't you working?" to, "Tell us about this venture you started." You are no longer appearing as a passive victim of a layoff who is desperate for a paycheck. You are appearing as a proactive entrepreneur who used a period of transition to build an enterprise. This signals to high-level employers that you possess the owner mentality, the ability to identify a problem, build a solution, and manage a project from the ground up without a manager holding your hand. Furthermore, the work you do in your side hustle serves as a living, breathing portfolio of your current competence. In 2026, showing beats telling every single time. If you can point to a YouTube channel with growing engagement, a freelance portfolio with verified client testimonials, or a digital product you've launched, you are providing hard evidence that your skills are not only sharp, but are actually market validated. You are proving that you understand modern SEO, digital marketing, audience retention, and fiscal management. This makes you a low-risk hire for any company because you have already proven you can deliver results in the real world. By the time your benefits dry up, you won't be begging for a job at the bottom of a pile of resumes. You'll be negotiating from a position of strength, using your side hustle as the ultimate proof that you are a high-value asset who is already ahead of the curve. Key point 6, diversifying your income streams. The economic landscape of 2026 has made one thing abundantly clear. Relying on a single source of income is no longer just risky, it is a mathematical gamble with your survival. Whether that source is a traditional 9-to-5 salary or a government benefit check, you are essentially standing on a one-legged stool. If that single pillar is removed due to a policy shift, a corporate layoff, or an algorithmic change in the job market, your entire financial life collapses instantly. This is why a side hustle isn't just a hobby or extra cash, it is a strategic diversification of your personal economy. By starting now, while you have the buffer of benefits, you can begin to build multiple micro streams of revenue that function independently of each other. Think of your financial life as a fortress. In the old world, people built one giant wall, a career, and hoped it never crumbled. In the modern era, you build a series of smaller interconnected defensive structures. A side hustle allows you to experiment with different monetization models. Perhaps you have a YouTube channel generating ad revenue, a digital product on a platform like Gumroad or Etsy, and a freelance consulting gig on the side. If the YouTube algorithm dips one month, your consulting gig carries the weight. If a freelance client ends a contract, your digital product sales provide the floor. This anti-fragile approach ensures that no single failure can take you out of the game. You are creating a portfolio of income that mirrors the way professional investors manage wealth. Furthermore, the process of diversification forces you to become a multifaceted producer. You learn how to market to different audiences, how to manage various payment gateways, and how to balance multiple projects at once. This versatility is your greatest protection against the volatility of the U.S. market. By the time your benefits dry up, your goal shouldn't be to find one big replacement for that check. Instead, you should have 3 or 4 smaller streams that, when combined, not only match your previous income, but offer a much higher ceiling for growth. When you own multiple streams, you own your peace of mind. You stop checking the news for benefit extensions because you have already built an internal economy that is self-sustaining and immune to the whims of a single employer or a government agency. You transition from being a victim of the economy to being a diversified participant in it. Key point 7, accessing the hidden job market. In the professional ecosystem of 2026, the traditional method of applying for jobs through public portals and LinkedIn easy apply buttons has become a digital graveyard. Statistics show that up to 80% of high-value positions are never even advertised to the public. They are filled through internal referrals, back-channel conversations, and professional reputations built in the open. When you spend your period of unemployment merely filling out forms, you are competing with millions of people for the remaining 20% of the scraps. However, when you launch a side hustle, you are essentially buying a VIP pass into the hidden job market. By putting your work out there, whether it's through a specialized YouTube channel, a newsletter, or a freelance service, you're creating a beacon that attracts high-level decision makers who are looking for specific expertise rather than just another resume in their inbox. Your side hustle serves as an active 24/7 networking machine. While you are sleeping, your content or your services are being discovered by potential partners, clients, and employers who value proof of work over a list of bullet points. In 2026, the most lucrative opportunities come from being in the room where problems are being solved. When you are a side hustler, you aren't just an unemployed person, you are a peer in the industry. You are interacting with other creators, collaborating on small projects, and providing value to a specific niche. This creates a gravity around your personal brand. You begin to receive direct messages and emails that don't start with, "Send us your CV," but rather, "We saw what you built, and we have a problem we think you can solve." This is how you bypass the gatekeepers and the AI filters that keep everyone else trapped in the application loop. Furthermore, this visibility allows you to headhunt for yourself. Instead of waiting for a company to announce they need help, you can use your side hustle to identify companies that should be working with you. You can approach a business with a case study of what you've achieved on your own, offering them a partnership or a specialized consulting role that didn't exist before you suggested it. This puts you in a position of extreme leverage. You aren't asking for a favor, you are offering a solution based on the tangible results you've already produced during your time off. By the time your benefits dry up, you shouldn't be hoping someone notices your application. You should have a network of professional contacts who already know your worth because they've been watching you build your empire from the sidelines. You are no longer searching for a seat at the table, you are building your own table, and that is exactly when the most prestigious invitations start to arrive.